Hey, Thomas, let's go ahead and just jump right in and start off by telling us who your product is for and what you're building.
Yeah, so we're building Hadrius, and Hadrius is automating SEC compliance, most specifically for financial firms. And so there's all these different workflows. And when I say financial firms, I'm talking about asset managers, investment managers. For the most part, broker dealers is another category. And they have all these workflows they have to accomplish to keep up their registration as regulated entities, from reviewing emails, marketing, employee trade monitoring, all these filings they have to conduct, certifications, and proving they're legitimate and all these things. And so we hook that all into Hadrius and just run their compliance stack with AI.
So, building in the Gen AI space, was this move opportunistic? Did you start with the technology, then you found this problem, or was it the other way around?
Yeah, this problem is very near and dear to us because we ran our own SEC registered financial firm for a little bit, for a few years actually, called Quantbase. And so in the course of that, we're registered with the SEC. We're running our own compliance using consultants and software to do that. And so in hindsight, it's really inevitable that we were going to be working on this. But yeah, it started with being deeply familiar with how painful this problem space is, and the realization that a lot of this is dominated by consultants that could be automated away, or at least significantly helped with Gen AI.
So, what about this problem is so interesting to you? I know you said you were in this space already before, but yeah, what about it is so interesting to you?
Yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is, yeah, we've been in this space, and so that makes the impact very clear to us. And I think that's, I mean, the root thing at the end of the day is just how exciting it is. We know we're making a change, not only for ourselves, with running Quantbase. We saw very quickly as we were building Hadrius for ourselves that all the hours it saves doing those really annoying tasks, but then doing the same for other firms, and we're getting the same feedback that it's, the decades old alternatives they used to use, they're able to completely wipe away with just how significantly better Hadrius is and having that impact. But the problems themselves are also really cool. The being able to work with more cutting edge technology and automating a lot of these tedious tasks, and all the sort of engineering that goes into making sure we can be really accurate for compliance. Of course, any sort of mistakes or failures can be very expensive, and so that's also really exciting, challenging problem too.
You mentioned other players. We'll get to that question in a bit, but let's stay focused on the technology for now. There's a lot of talk around Gen AI companies just being a wrapper around ChatGPT. What is your moat? How is your company not just a wrapper?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing is the sensitive data we work with. And so this isn't just like data sets you find anywhere. These are firms' emails, their communications, all the marketing they're putting out before they put it out, the trades being made in employee personal brokerage accounts. So it's a lot of very sensitive data that it's hard to get really anywhere except by working with these customers and building their trust. So that definitely plays a big role in being able to improve our model significantly over time with data that is very private and proprietary like that. Means, of course, we're going to be able to be more accurate and comprehensive, and accuracy is everything in compliance. Beyond that, we have a very unique team, both very technical. Our CTO was senior at Google, and other co-founder worked in hedge funds, and we've all worked together on a quantitative hedge fund robo advisor, as I mentioned. So a very unique team too. And in the future, we're thinking some kind of regulatory moats could be interesting if we're the sort of de facto standard for SEC compliance and auditing. That would be significant too.
That would be really powerful. Staying on the topic of both, but about other companies, which hot generative AI startup do you think doesn't have a moat, if you're so inclined to say?
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of these early stage ones that I've seen. Any kind of data aggregation you're doing, or like, I'll review your emails and pull out insights kind of thing.
Hmm.
Seem like very low hanging fruit. They seem like they're just going to be apps on the OpenAI App Store, which is fine. But it seems like it's going to be really hard to build a significant business there when ChatGPT and is so easy to use. All these other APIs are really easy to use. Yeah, that's going to be tough.
You mentioned your team earlier. Let's dive more into that. What makes you and your team the best team to build in this space?
Yeah, so I mean, like I mentioned, the biggest thing is the working at Quantbase together. We're very deeply familiar with the workflows that need to be undertaken by regulated financial firms when they're registered with the SEC and CFTC and OCC and these other regulatory bodies. Um, that combined with the fact that we have unique technical experience. And so we're in a space where the existing software providers are decades old. They're backed by PE. And so they haven't really innovated in decades. Part of their financial model is consultants. And so these kind of time-saving innovations aren't top of mind for them. In fact, it's the opposite. They're really incentivized against them. So we have a lot going for us in that regard. Just the combo of the tech and the expertise with the problem, for sure.
Love it. And now let's shift a little bit to your competitors. Who are the big players in your problem space today?
Yeah, so pretty much all the firms we work with, they'll use a combination of software and consultants to handle their compliance workflows. So the software side, it's firms like Comply, ACA Global, Smarsh, Global Relay is another one. And then consultants, there's so many of them. The biggest of which are like Deloitte, makes over $1 billion a year in revenue from financial compliance consulting.
That's wild. Now,
Yeah.
let's say one of your former coworkers were to start a company doing the exact same thing tomorrow. Would they stand a chance?
Yeah, I'd say it'd be very hard. um, it's it's that unique expertise you need to have. You need to, at the same time, be very deeply familiar with the problems here, and that financial regulatory compliance, which means you're typically going to be a lawyer or a consultant or a more non-technical person. At the same time, you need to be very technical to handle the software lift necessary to make the Hadrius possible and to be able to automate these workflows. So it's such a unique combination, being very, very familiar with the asset management and regulatory world, but also being very technical and having that deep knowledge of how to leverage the software solution to solve the problems. There's not many people in the world who can even say that about themselves.
Why should a 10x engineer or any 10x talent join your startup?
Yeah, the biggest thing is just the rapid impact you can have on very painful problems. I mean, this is hair pulling, reviewing emails and reviewing marketing and all these things that they just have people doing this mind-numbing work that the code you write can very immediately save hours from somebody's day. And they'll tell you that. We check in with all of our customers every week at least, and they all say the same thing. It's just hours saved on all this, and you're competing against very old companies. So the impact is very palpable really quick for our customers.